Hi, our dear students. This is Musasizi Steven, your math teacher. We are still on the topic transformation, and I hope you know how to find the image points given the matrix and the object. You know even how to find the matrix and all that. So I'm continuing with the lesson on what we had stopped on. Previously it was determining the matrix of transformation. At this particular time, I want us to determine the points of the object, or we can say object points. We now know how to determine image points and matrix transformation. So let us learn now how to get the object points given the matrix and the image points. Of course, there are a number of ways of doing this, and we are going to look at the simplest method, and this is by inverse method. So the procedure is you get the inverse of the matrix, multiply it by the image points. If it's 1, you multiply it by the image point, and then you'll be able to get what we call the object points. Or if it's 1 point, you get the object point. An example is here, which says that find the coordinates of ABC whose image points are A prime 7, 2, B prime 14, 15, C prime 21, 17, under matrix transformation M 5, negative 2, 3, 1. So here is the solution. So we said first get the determinant of the matrix. The matrix is 5, negative 2, 3, 1. So determinant of that matrix is 1. You know, it is a product of the leading diagonal minus the product of the minor diagonal. So it will be 1 times 5 minus 3 times negative 2. That's for the minor diagonal. So we end up getting 5 minus negative 6. And at the end of it, all you are going to get determinant as 11. So what's the inverse of that matrix? Inverse is got by getting 1 over determinant of the matrix times the adjunct matrix. So what's the determinant? You have already got it as 11. The adjunct matrix is you interchange the leading diagonal, the figures. The one which was 5 up now goes down and 1 comes up. The minor diagonal you change only the signs. 2 was negative, now it has become positive. 3 was positive and has become negative. That's the adjunct. So inverse is 1 over 11 times that adjunct matrix, as you have been seeing. But I would like to emphasize that it's not proper to multiply that 1 over 11 into that matrix. It will be a bit difficult because you are going to multiply it by the image points. So it's better to leave it as 1 over 11 times 1, 2, negative 3, 5. Then we multiply it by the image. The image points are 7, 2, 14, 15, 21, 17. So first leave the 1 over 11 and you multiply the matrix, which are very easy. This 1, 2, negative 3, 5 by A prime, B prime, C prime, that matrix. The other 1 over 11 will come later. So I go to 1 times 7 plus 2 times 2. You remember that's the first row. We are using still the method of row by column. It is when you multiply row by column. Then you go to 1 times 14 plus 2 times 15. Lastly, for C, it is 1 times 21 plus 2 times 17. So that's the first row of the matrix. Then the second row of the matrix, we have negative 3 and 5. So it should be multiplied by each of those points, A prime, B prime, C prime. So we are going to have negative 3 times 7 plus 5 times 2. Then for B prime, it is negative 3 times 14 plus 5 times 15. Then C prime, it is negative 3 times 21 plus 5 times 17. So as you go down, 1 times 7, of course, 7, then 2 plus times 2 is 4. That is 7 plus 4. B prime would be 14 plus 30, 21 plus 34. Then negative 21 plus 10, negative 42. I'm getting the answers from up, plus 75. Then negative 3 times 21, you get negative 63 plus 85. Please, this is a typing error. A is supposed to be prime, even B is supposed to be prime. C is also prime. No, we are getting the values of the object, so it's okay. So when you add 7 plus 4, it's 11. Negative 11, that's for A. B is 44, 33. For C is 55, 22. So now it is from here that you bring in 1 over 11. So how do you get A? You say 11 times 1 over 11. You work out each of them inside times 1 over 11. If you want to get B, you say 44 times 1. That answer divided by 11, you get a 4. 55 times 1, you get 55. Divided by 11, you get a 5. Down, again, negative 11 times 1. Divided by 11, you get negative 1. 33 times 1, you get 33. Divided by 11, you get 3. Then 22 times 1, which is 22 divided by 11, you get 2. So you can see if you had not multiplied, it is a little bit simpler to multiply than getting the real inverse, having multiplied by 1 over 11. This is better to do towards the end. So since you want the object points, it's now a matter of copying from up. Now A will be A negative 1, for B is 4, 3, and C is 5, 2. So those will be the coordinates of the object which was required. Now we go to example. Next example is this one. This one I looked at only a single point, this time not points like the ones I gave in the previous example. There were 3. Here it's only 1 point. So I want us to find what was the object for this point P prime. So the question is, a point P underwent a certain transformation. This time n is 2, 1, 0, 3, and it's giving the image as 3, 15. So they want us to find the coordinates of P. So what's P? So you remember, a simple formula is get the inverse of the matrix, then you multiply by the image points. If it's one image point, if there are many image points. So you end up getting the image point. This is only 1 point. So how do I get the inverse? What's the inverse determinant of the matrix N? Of course, you say product of the leading diagonal, which is 3 times 2, minus the product of the minor. 0 times 1 is 0. So 6 minus 0, of course, you end up with 6. But remember, inverse is 1 over determinant times the adjoint matrix. Sometimes they call it adjunct. What's the adjunct matrix for this matrix N? It's you change position of the leading diagonal. 3 goes up, 2 comes down. Then the minor, you change the sign. The one which is positive becomes negative. The negative becomes a positive. However, 0 cannot change it to a negative, neither a positive. 0 is neutral. So it will remain 0, but the 1 becomes now what? Negative 1. So in short, the inverse of this matrix N is 1 over 6 into 3 negative 1, 0, 2. Remember, we shouldn't multiply, and we get the real inverse that now 3 over 6. That one will be in fractions, and it's a bit tricky. So you just leave it as it is, 1 over 6 into that adjoint matrix. Then that one we shall multiply by the image point. It was 1, 315, if you can see the image point. You convert it to column vector, not as it is in coordinate form. You change it to column vector and it becomes 315. So our inverse matrix will be 1 over 6 into 3, 0, negative 1, 2. We are multiplying it by 315. So you maintain 1 over 6, not until you've reached the last step that we shall now multiply and divide by 6, like the way we did the previous example. So you multiply now 3, negative 1, 0, 2. You ignore 1 over 6 for a while. So 3 times 3 plus negative 1 times 15, remember it's row by column. Then down I have 0 times 3 plus 2 times 15. So what do you get? 3 times 3 is 9. Negative 1 times 15, it is negative 15. Down you have 0 times 3, which is 0, plus 2 times 15 is 30. Now can we add 9 plus negative 15? It is negative 6. Then 0 plus 30, you get 30. I've still maintained the 1 over 6. The other time it was 1 over 11. Then from here that I multiply, then I divide by 6. So I get my negative 6. I multiply it by 1, I get negative 6. Divide by 6, you end up getting negative 1. Then you again get 30 times 1, it is 30. Divide by 6, you get 5. So that's the column vector, negative 1, 5. But remember, they want the object point. So it was P. The answer is a matter of now writing the other column vector, negative 1, 5 as a coordinate, and it becomes P, negative 1, 5. And we shall have got the object point. So under this topic, this is now a summary. Sometimes they may ask to find the image. So if they want to find the image of any triangle, anything, any object, you get the matrix moi times object equals image. Then another time they can ask you to find the matrix. So which means they will have to give you the image, the prime, and then the object. You know how to find the matrix. We did it the other time. Follow the lessons. Then lastly, you may be asked to find the object. This is what you have just looked at this very moment. Find the object points. If there are many points, if it's one object point, like for this last example. So with that, hope you've understood how to get the object points. So I may maybe say continue to get some questions elsewhere about similar topic. There are questions on this particular topic. So you get related questions and you'll be able to answer whatever question you have been asked. Another method is a bit long. That's why I've ignored it. It involves the solving simultaneously the equations. Like there we are getting the matrix. So I'll not, maybe next time we shall look at that. But for now, let's pick this method. It is the simplest. So this is an activity for you. There are 3 questions and they are all requiring you to get the object points. For example, number 1 is a line, so I want the coordinates for the object, that's P2. Number 2 is a triangle, I want the object points for ABC, since I've given the image. Now for number 3, I still want to find the object points of this. It was a rectangle, sorry, it has a mistake, it was not completed. I'll clear this one later. Number 3 has not, it's incomplete. Let me make it proper for you to continue doing that number. I thank you very much and I wish you the best next time.